Okay, never mind. I'm live on Instructor Mike. Matter of fact, let me go live on Facebook. Might as well. I tried. Let's see if it'll happen. Let's see if it'll happen. I guess it did happen. I guess it did happen. Let's see if it picks up. You got the notification? All right. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oh, never mind. Damn, that shit shot up. That shot up. Instructor Mike. Hey, let me ask you all of you all on Instructor Mike, could y'all go over to my Dad I Wish I Knew Facebook page and watch from there? I'm trying, man. I'm trying to boost up my Dad I Wish I Know page. It said Karma Justice, I missed you. Oh, I missed y'all too. All right. Obviously, you all see who we going to talk about tonight, right? We're going to talk about that tonight. Yeah. When I start talking about, hey, Monique, when I start talking about issues like these, I'm going to be going live from my, oh, Mo, what's going on? Oh, when I try to talk about issues like these, I try to go live from the Dad. I seen when you tried to arrest yourself when you broke into my chastity belt. What does that mean? I seen when you tried to arrest yourself when you broke into my chastity belt. What does that even mean? Hey, Miss KK. Yeah. Is that a lyric? Is that something I missed? What does that even mean? What does that mean? All right. I bet you are. I'm trying to figure out what that even means. All right, let's go on ahead and dive into it. So, all right, fair enough. All right, so let's go on ahead and get right into it. We are going to go on ahead and talk about, yes, one of my videos did go viral about the situation involving the gas station. So, yeah, that was fun. I see. It's all good. Let's get with it. All right. So we are going to talk about childhood trauma. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Childhood trauma. And I'm going to drop the link. And I want people to come up if you choose to. And we're going to talk about it. So those of you all who watch Love and Hip Hop, now, mind you, I don't watch Love and Hip Hop. But being on social media all the time, I talk about and go through and see a lot of things. And I happened to stumble across this video from Love and Hip Hop with Lil Scrappy and Momma Dee. And this is Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Shouts out to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And who you see right here is Lil Scrappy. By the way, if you're watching this, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications, and please, you see where it says in the corner, Dad I Wish I Knew? That's the primary page that I'm streaming from. Dad I Wish I Knew. And that's where you're going to be able to catch the replay of this. Dad I Wish I Knew is my other page. I recognize that when I see, look at the views right now. When I try to talk about stuff like this, that's not gun stuff, my Instructor Mike page views go down because people value this conversation on other platforms, not on Instructor Mike. People follow Instructor Mike for gun stuff, for pew pew, all that other stuff, right? What you see on my shirt, right? But family matters too. I'm going to get to you all's comments shortly. By the way, thoughts and prayers to the 3 men, strike that, was it 5 people who were shot, 3 who were killed, 2 who were still wounded in the hospital. Thoughts and prayers to those who were shot at the University of Virginia. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Until America's parents and until America starts to develop a way to teach children better and find a way to just be nice. I didn't say you had to like everybody. I just said just be nice. We're going to keep on having more mass shootings. It's not going to stop. Whether it be in the hood or whether it be in the school, whether it be in the church or whether it be in someone's business, it's going to keep happening. And the one thing that I noticed is that the politicians who are against guns are saying very little about the last 2 active shootings that have happened involving Black men. Black men. The 3 who were killed, Black men. The person who did the shooting, a Black man. In St. Louis, the person who did the shooting, a Black young man. They're quiet. Let's get to the story that we're watching today. This is about Lil Scrappy. Now, I don't know who he raps with, but I know he's a rapper, but that's not the point. We're talking about the childhood trauma. So let's go. Oh, yeah. No outcry about that. You're not going to get no, I don't like that view. You're not going to get no outcry about that. You're not going to get any outcry about that. Hey, Angel, let's go on ahead and watch this, and then we will talk about it. Now, due to the graphic nature of what you're about to hear, listener and viewer discretion is advised, number 1. Number 2, this is going to be triggering for some people. Ladies, especially Black women, period. But the focal topic of this is Black women. It's going to be triggering. You're going to hear some things that may make you think that I hate Black women. I do not at all. In fact, I was talking about this before, and I was talking about how there are men, including myself, I gotta be honest about this. There are men who want for women to be held accountable for the things they did not teach us as little boys. But we, as men, also need to be understanding of your trauma too. Because no one taught you. Because no one taught you. And as long as we have this desire to want to hold our moms, our dads accountable for the things that they have done to us in our childhood, but we don't take the time to understand their trauma. I didn't say approve of the behavior. I didn't say like it. I didn't say dislike it. I just said understand it. We are not going anywhere as a community. Without further delay, let's watch this, and we're definitely going to comment. Please make sure that you are liking this, subscribing if you would be so kind, and share. You can subscribe to Dad I Wish I Knew. That's where we'll find a lot more of this content. I only went live to stream on Instructor Mike and Facebook. to kind of boost up the numbers because it's a very important discussion that needs to be had. Mo says, I know the feeling because many people think I dislike black men, but they couldn't be further from the truth. Mo and I are very good friends. We have a lot of conversations. And here's this, we don't always agree on everything. But the one thing we do agree on is family matters. And the one thing we talk about is the stuff that happens when parents don't pay attention to the stuff that they've done. You have to admit, Scrappy's perseverance is incredible considering the circumstances. Statistically, he should be dead or in prison. Let's go on ahead and watch it. What are some, let me go on ahead. Sound off in the comments what you think about what you just saw. Here's what I saw. And there's more video to watch. What I saw was a young man who still is hurt on the inside. There is a theory called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's all about voids that you have on the inside. You heard him say he can't go to his wife because she's hard. He can't go to his mother because she's hard. It is very much the case. And as a former mommy man, I am going to tell you this for certain. We look for people just like or close to our moms. My case was a slight bit different. My mom was abusive. But the love and the things that we wanted from our mothers, we look for women just like that. And the thing is, she didn't let him get in a word edgewise. You're going to see that in the next video. I keep pointing this way because where my screen is, but the video is here. You're going to see that in the next video. Let me give a disclaimer. Ladies, mamas, if you are a mother watching this, I love you enough to be able to tell you this. When you are not honest about the reasons you had us, when you are not honest about your trauma, you pour your trauma into us. What did Scrappy say? We were in a whorehouse. What did Scrappy say? All the things, and I'll read your comments shortly, all the things that he had to witness her doing. And what did his mama do? With the proceeds, she put food on the table, clothes on his back, a roof over his head, gave him a pot to piss in, window to throw it out of. What did his mama do? Fund his rap career. Mamas, I want you to understand this. Your report card of our success is not the success that we get from what we do professionally. That's not your report card. And struggle moms love to take that away from us. Can't have an 8th grade graduation, the diploma belongs to her. Can't have a high school graduation, the diploma belongs to her. Not any of the work that we did. It belongs to her. I'm the one who funded your rap career. I'm the one who made you this. I'm the one who made you that. When instead, we often become workaholics because of the trauma you put us through. Because of the trauma you put us through. I am at present a workaholic. I have very little personal life. I got no problem admitting this because I hope that people learn from what I'm saying. I have very little personal life. Don't get me wrong. I'm not closed-minded to the things I like to do. I'm not closed-minded to other things I can venture out and do. I'm very independent. But in terms of, you know how people got, boy, please, I'm a workaholic. It's the only thing that I can rely on that delivers consistent results and never lets me down, because I'm great at what I do. I very seldomly toot my horn, but I'm great at what I do. And what fuels that is trauma. It's the only thing that I can rely on, because I've never been able to rely on family, ever, even to this day. And so when I advocate for you to heal, when you got young kids, when I promote my children's books and tell people, there's a reason behind that. Because I want you to be better so that your kids can get better outcomes. Scrap shouldn't have had to do this. And she tried to overtalk him. Couldn't let him get in the word edgewise. And when you think, man, hey, look, this is, we'll call Larry a father figure of mine. He remembers me when I was little. He remembers me when I was little. He remembers my mom. He remember Larry. I don't even know, you might have been at church. Remember the times mama used to beat me in front of y'all? She didn't care. When I say mama was mad, mama was mad. I couldn't have a voice. I couldn't, children were to be seen and not heard. One of the reasons why I became a musician was because music was my outlet. I used to go over Larry's house. I used to go over to other people's houses. I wanted to spend the night over their house because home was a prison. And so that's why I could relate to Scrappy. Difference is, I didn't get into the rap career. You wouldn't want me rapping. It wouldn't go too well. But what does that do to us? That affects us as men in our relationships. That pushes us closer to trauma bonding. Trauma bonding. I'm going to read the comments. And we're going to keep on watching this, because there's another video that's even more explosive. And you're going to hear some things in that video that's going to trigger even more discussions. You said, if mama got mad, you run. Yes, for sure. Boy, I was a habitual runawayer. That's not a word, but we're going to make it a word tonight. Man, I used to have fun running away from my mom too, because she was taller and a little heavy set. So I would run and then wait for her to catch up and get a little closer, and I would keep running again. She would never catch me. I'm a child abuse survivor for sure. Me and my grandmother were like this because my grandmother would protect me against my mother's abuse. Now, I forgive my mother and I love her with all of my heart. Not like this, though. I didn't learn to love my mom until after her death. It was a Facebook post she made where I knew she had actually healed from her trauma, but sometimes she can't tell you. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Let's watch the rest of this, and then we're going to watch the other half of this video. And then I'm going to drop the link. And those of you all who are brave enough, this is a safe space, as much as social media could be a safe space. If you want to come up on this platform and you want to talk about your childhood trauma for the purposes of obviously getting it off, but helping others who may watch this heal. Some of you all have grown up in houses where you were told you're to be seen and not heard. I'm here to tell you that's wrong. And if you as a parent are doing this to your child, I urge you to consider giving them the voice that they were born with. And it's a shame I should even have to ask you to consider, because those children have rights just like you do. This old slave man plantation stuff's got to go. Because nothing is going to get built and be better until we become better as family. This stuff's got to stop. This stuff has got to stop. This stuff has got to stop. Let's continue.
To cheat myself, and I'm my perfect mother. No one is. But I
hear that gaslight narcissistic stuff she just said right there. Mamas, sometimes you don't understand that when you sit here and say, I was the best mother I can be, when we are telling you that you hurt us, that is a slap to the face. Instead, allow me to offer you a suggestion on a statement that will allow you to save face, because I understand that you went through trauma too. I did what I knew. I did what I knew. I think that would be a much better statement for you to say. I will not tell you I did the best I could, because that would be like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. But what I will tell you is this: I did what I knew, and what I knew was not right. You deserve better, and I wished I had been taught better. But the one thing I can say is this: you will be an adult longer than you've been a kid. So if it's not too much trouble, my son, my daughter, would you allow me the opportunity to redeem myself by learning what I could have done better and being an advisor as we grow up together? Does that sound better than sitting here saying I did the best I could? Then she sits here and says, I forgive them. What? China Jones says, I survived childhood abuse as well. I was never told by my mother that she loves me. Every chance she got, she was beating on me. If I asked to see my father, she was beating on me. I wasn't a bad child or disrespectful, but I never felt the love from my mother that a child's supposed to get. And I'm still struggling with these issues right now to this day. Oh, y'all like and subscribe and share this. Tag somebody in this you know needs to hear this. Today is the day that we are going to let our voices ring. And we are saying this with love. We don't dislike you as a person. We dislike the behavior. And the problem is with some mothers and fathers too, who it applies to, parents. General Colin Powell said it best. Avoid having your ego so closely connected to your position that when your position falls, your ego falls with it. And I will double down and apply this to parents. Avoid having your ego and your self-esteem, who you think you are, so closely connected to the knowledge, skills, and abilities that you have, think you have, or don't have regarding parenting, that when we tell you you were wrong, or when someone else tells you you were wrong, you think it's a personal attack on you, and it is not. You could have been a good intentioned person. Your heart could have been in the right place, but your knowledge, skills, and abilities were not in the right place. And when you give your children blanket apologies, when you give your children the, you know what, whatever I did to you, I know I probably did some stuff to you. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. No. That's putting an emergency. Don't know what happened, but we still back. That's putting an emergency blanket on those bullet wounds. That is putting an emergency blanket on those bullet wounds. I remove myself from the live. I'm trying to hold this mouse in place, and I remove myself from the live. That's putting an emergency blanket on those bullet wounds. You got to go down and listen to the children. You got to listen to them, even as adults, because behind every angry adult is a hurt child deep on the inside. You got to go to them, and you got to ask them, where is it that I hurt you? Where is it that I did you wrong? And let them tell you. Let them tell you. Let them tell you what the specific issue was, and don't try to talk over them like she just tried to. Don't do that. Listen to them. It is very ironic that the one thing that the Black community says is the national anthem, and that is lift every voice and sing, is the one thing that Black kids can't do in their home. Erica King says, you also have to remember that therapy and psychiatry is still kind of new. Many people from older generations don't believe in that and don't want to bring people into their business, which hinders the healing process. I agree. That's why I said it has to start with you. Not you, Erica, but you get what I'm saying. It has to start with you, the individual parent. It has to start with you being honest about why you had them. Tell your child I had you because I was trying to save my marriage. I was trying to save my relationship. And you were the rebound baby. I was just coming off of a situation. And this is what happened. And that's how you were created. Yeah, it's going to hurt for them to hear it, but that's the lesson they need to know. Let them know that there are manuals for parenting. I just don't want nobody telling me how to raise you. I don't want nobody telling me how to teach you, because I need you to feel good. So when you feel good, I feel good because I had you at a low point in my life where I needed someone to give me purpose. And I created you for my self-esteem. Let them know. And your children may have a better understanding of your trauma if you stop lying to them. Love them enough to place yourself on the altar of embarrassment so your children can give back to you what you need, and that is understanding and perhaps maybe even healing. Oh my God, I gotta read these comments. Come on, y'all, pour it out. Let me know if you want me to drop the link right now. This is your page just like it's mine. Let me know if you want to drop the link. Sound off in the comments, say drop the link, and I'm going to drop the link and let you come up. You don't even have to show your face. Just let your voice be heard, unless you want to show your face. I have to be honest. Hold on, let me get to that. Mo said, Erica King, trauma or no trauma, no mother should be looking at their child running around a dope house. Your child has to sleep with you because the home is not safe. Nah, safety is a natural desire, and she failed her son at having it and failed herself as well. Monique says, and I'm going to drop the link. China said, drop it. I'm doing it. I have to be honest. I practice gentle parenting. And I have yet to come across another black man that speaks the way you do. I get told that I'm wrong for the parenting the way that I do. Monique, you're not wrong. I'm going to let you know you in the right room with my children having a voice. They need to have a voice. They are well behaved and respectful. So I don't know what the problem is, but the problem, we're going to watch another. Y'all make sure y'all please follow the channel. Dad, I wish I knew. Because that's where I'm going to drop a lot of stuff. There's a video series that came out by Vice about some children who were abused and went to, it's more lessons that's coming from this, Monique. You in the right room. See, I don't really like doing this on Facebook. I only did it to get the views here. I wanted to keep it exclusively on YouTube. Every last one of y'all, please, I'm begging you. Your child is begging you. Your childhood trauma is begging you. Go over to the Dad I Wish I Knew YouTube page, because YouTube will give me just a little bit more latitude to have these honest conversations. Facebook won't do that. Here we go. Let me go back to some of these other comments. A lot of people tell me I'm aggressive and I'm mean, but I know that I'm not. I just have these issues from childhood and never learned how to channel my anger or aggression to be able to deal with it. China, you in the right room. TY, or is that Ty? Or Tay? Let me know. A lot of them can't do that. I think they believe that they never spoke their hurt to their parents. It's disrespectful when we do it, but I'm telling you, we're going to look up the definition of respect. We're going to look up the definition of respect because we have been taught that definition wrong. We have been taught that definition wrong. It's not disrespectful. The problem is when you have parents whose egos are attached to their parenting, that they can't take it when you tell the truth. Respect in certain homes means say what I want you to say that will make me feel good. And if you fail to do that, you have disrespected me and dishonored me. Jeremy, my Lord. I had cigarettes put out on me, pulled out the top bunk bed because I missed one spot on a dish plate, thrown against walls and kicked. I'm telling y'all, this is child. Let's free yourself from this. Oh, let's free yourself from this. I'm dropping this link. What's up, Ken? Oh my God. Come on, y'all. Let's wrap ourselves. Let's wrap your arms around each other. I'm going to drop this link. Y'all come on up. Whether you want to cam up or not, it's on you. But let your voices be heard. I'm dropping this link. Let's go. Let your voices be heard. I don't know why it's not popping on Facebook. Did it show up on Facebook? I see it on Instructor Mike and Dad I Wish I Knew. China, if you got YouTube, you may have to come over to Dad I Wish I Knew or Instructor Mike on YouTube. I'm pinning the link to the top. No, I can't pin a link to the top. I'm not even on my right page. Yeah, I'm going to pin the link to the top. There we go. All right, I dropped the link. I don't see it on Facebook for some reason. Those of you all on Facebook, if you would be so kind, just type it, go to YouTube and type in. You said, I love your dad. I wish I knew. Send it to my sister. Thank you. Go ahead and type in the YouTube channel. Dad, I wish I knew. Come on in. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe, bell for notifications, all that stuff. I'm posting content every day. These are the things that I wished I knew. Wished I had known. Let's continue watching this. I'm going to wait for you all to come up to put you all on. But let's continue watching this. This is some gaslighting stuff if I ain't never seen it.
We should act like family, and we should pray together and stay together. I was the best mother I could be. I'm not a perfect person, nor am I perfect.
Hey, yo, it's Safari. Listen, thanks for watching, and you are now tuned in with.
And I bumped into one of my brother's friend's mom, and she was just so thrilled that he had graduated.
All right, are y'all saying YouTube took it down? I still see it. Oh yeah, they took it down. I don't know how they. I don't know how they do that. Yeah, I see it down. I don't know how they do that. All right, can you all still see? Wow. I don't know how you able to. You all on Facebook though, right? Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I don't know how they say you could use it for fair use, but then they take it down. That's weird. You on Facebook? Bro. All right. But yeah. The instructor mic is still up though, which is weird. Okay, that stream is down. You said you're on Facebook. Oh, I saw somebody. Well, somebody did. Somebody was live and then they went out. I had to resub to the channel. Yeah. It's back live now. That's weird. Oh no, it's back live. It's back live. No, it's back. It's back live on YouTube. I'm watching it right now. I'm watching it. It's back live. Yeah, I'm watching it right now. This is weird. That was weird. All right. What's up? Okay. Yeah, we're back live. I'm not gonna play. I played enough of it already, but that was weird because I got it going across where it's saying fair use. Like we're literally criticizing the video. I don't know, but it's under fair use. I don't get it. It's crazy. Anywho, all right, I see you all a lot. All right, so what are your thoughts? We're not gonna stream that. What are your thoughts? You back? You back? Molly said she's going back. All right, you gotta mute yourself. I don't know if it's the feedback coming in on your end, GSNHQ. Let me see. Yeah, I just muted your mic for a minute, just a little minute. All right, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? As much as I want, I don't. You see, the YouTube stream is still going, which was crazy. I'm just making sure the YouTube feeds are still up. Give me 1 minute. Go to my channel. Yeah, it's still live. That was weird. That was very weird. All right. Well, whatever. We're back. Those who need to be here are here. I will drop the link again if you all want to come up. All right. Yeah, it still didn't show up on Facebook. I don't know. But the dad I wished I knew and instructor Mike is still there. All right, we're going to go on ahead and just put that off to the side. Maybe put that off to the side like that. I guess that's better. I don't know. All right, here we go. What are your thoughts about what you just saw? You said she wasn't listening because she didn't want to hear what he was saying. She was so defensive and not wanting to receive anything that he was saying. Sounds like she's the I paid to provide you these things, so you owe me kind of mother. That's exactly what she sounds like. Welcome, GS Ent. You said they have to not watch you on YouTube while being here. Look, it's coming across here that we're doing a react. This is clearly a reaction. And maybe I gotta put that in the title that it's a reaction. Maybe that's I don't know. All right. What's your thoughts, sir? GSN HQ. What's up? Hello? I don't know if they can hear me. All right. I'm gonna go on ahead and remove him to the back. I don't know why he's not saying nothing. That was weird. Here we go. Blue Jay, what's going on? Blue Jay, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Blue Jay. You said they chose to mute themselves. Can you all hear me? Drop a number 1 in the comments if you can hear me. Oh, you can hear me, Kendra. Okay. Okay. Blue Jay, you chose to mute yourself. I can't hear you. Okay, I see you. Loud and clear. Why y'all coming to the stage and not saying nothing? That's weird. So y'all not gonna say shit? So you're just gonna be on stage, it's gonna be me. Can y'all see me? What am I doing now? Hey, what's going on?
Stop.
All right, you know what we're talking about today?
YouTube? About YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, this is YouTube, but do you know what we're talking about today, or did you just come up?
About mother? No?
Yeah, so that was weird. And bam. Here we go. See how that works? Kicked him from the studio. Like, hey, he doesn't know what we're talking about. All right, let's push. Blue Jay, what's up? Nope.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, girl? I'm glad you said
Oh,
something.
this episode hit me hard.
Okay.
Definitely with the gaslighting and the best I can do. I'm in therapy, and she said if your parents can't meet you and at least admit to your trauma, then they don't have to be in your life, and that's hard to close that door. But I'm not the parent, I'm the child, and I just need not to regress to an infant or adolescent, but I gotta hear that you understood what you did to me, and that's so hard getting it from parents. I'm in their 60s and 70s, so I finally come to the realization that I'm the child, and at any point, if they would like to be the parent again, they're welcome, but they're gonna have to admit what they did.
Right. Right.
Because it's definitely stunted me having healthy relationships. I attract my parents, and I think that's what you were saying. So I definitely attract my dad, which is not been working.
No.
But it's good that I know now why.
And the thing is that the more that we begin to, It's troubling. It's troubling when we think that we're going to have different outcomes. And I don't think that there is anybody who has ever said, you're right, Tia. You're so right. I don't think that there's anybody who has ever said that I'm not going to do or I'm not going to do different than my parents. I think that everybody has ever, a lot of people have recognized the trauma that their parents have put them through and have said, I'm going to do different. But then when you look years down the road, and it's like when you actually sit down and you begin to look back, you're like, I actually did exactly what they did. Maybe just a little bit different. I mean, what do you think?
Oh yeah. I mean the therapy was the number one thing. We gotta have it in the Black community. It ain't the church, it ain't your pastor. It's actually going and sitting down with somebody who is licensed.
But let me ask you this. You said something that was very interesting. And if anybody else wants to come up, drop this link again. You're more than welcome to. You said it's not going to come from the church. Can I ask you some questions regarding that? Because I tend to think just a little bit differently, but I understand where you're coming from, but just a little bit different. I don't think it could come from a religious perspective. If you look at family and consumer sciences, what used to be called home economics, you said YouTube is not working? I'm looking at the Dad I Wished I Knew page. It's still up, unless I'm down or something. But family and consumer sciences, I'm looking at, can the church teach your son? Do you have a son, Blue Jay?
No, I don't have any kids. I don't want any because I cannot pass this trauma to another. No, I don't want it.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Yes. It's amazing. I value you for that. But let's just say you did have a son, and let's just say you needed help. Can the church and the members in the church give you cooking classes?
Yes.
Okay. Can the members of the church give you child development classes? And by virtue of child development classes, I mean those classes that teach you about ages and stages, teach you about gross motor skills and crawling and jumping and running and things like that, and why kids do what they do, fine motor skills and speech and language and cognitive. Do you think there are daycare providers and daycare center owners that attend churches?
Oh, yes. I guess what I'm saying about the church is that you just pray about it. You don't speak to nobody outside of God, or that's what I mean from the church.
Oh,
that
no,
they just want you to pray about it.
Yeah, no, I absolutely know what you mean. I'm just saying this is just a questionnaire of, what do you think can actually happen within the church? Here we go. Do you think there are people in the church who could teach on health and hygiene?
Yes. Yes.
Do you think there are people in the church who are general contractors or Mr. or Miss Fix-Its, and they can teach the kids and even needy parents about home maintenance and management and design skills?
Yes.
Do you think there are people in the church that could teach the kids about home security and how to secure your home and how to protect against burglars and things of that nature? Like, don't cops go to church?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think some of them do have it through the mentor programs or their vacation Bible schools. They come get them from the communities because they don't have rides. They feed them. It is a safe haven. When I meant that, as far as like we're not taught that we can go outside and talk to a professional. That
No,
what
no,
happens in our house stays in our house.
that's yes. No, so this is what I was saying, right? I think that, and you all correct me if I'm wrong. Which one has a quicker expiration date, value or love?
Love.
Love.
What do you think, Monique?
I would say love too.
You could love somebody and be out of love with somebody just like that, but value lasts just a little bit longer. Does that make sense?
It makes
Yes.
very much sense.
And so
Yes,
if we recognize that we are not who we need to be, but we recognize that we still have a duty to teach our children, then my question is, what if for one Sunday we withheld the tithe and offerings and said to the pastor, we will start back giving if you give us classes in exchange for this money. Classes on cooking and how to teach it, child development and how to teach it, health and hygiene, home management and design, maintenance skills, home security, education, community awareness, sewing, textiles, clothing management, budgeting and economics, fire safety, basic first aid. Does that make sense? Life skill classes, because, and before I open the floor to you all, it's easy to say that we should have our schools doing this. But the problem with having our schools doing this is it takes a legislative act of our politicians and funding to actually have that done. But I guarantee you, if you withhold the money from the church and you tell them that this is what we want and we will start giving, I guarantee you, you got a child care director that goes there that can teach. You got everything we need to actually increase the skills of the mothers and the fathers in the community is in the church. And if you just remove religion for a minute and we look at knowledge, skills, and abilities, how many of you moms on here or women will actually pay for those life classes in the church?
Well, actually, I don't have a church home, so I don't know how to answer that question.
No. I'm not talking about, because I get it. I love God, but I don't do religion.
Right.
That's a whole nother topic.
Right.
But just like we got liquor stores, beauty supply stores, and even daycare centers on every corner.
That's true.
On every block in our community. Why do we have to go to the schools and get these skills when you got all these people who work in all these fields converging to one area on Sunday to get a word, but you walk away with no skills that you can practice back in the home?
That's true. Well, you know, they say most teachers come from home anyway, but if the parents wasn't able to do that and teach the children then like they did back in the days, like when my grandmother was raising my mother and all them, it was a difference on how the upbringing was compared to now. Right now, it's a bunch of kids having babies, so kids raising kids makes that equation kind of off. You know, you can't raise a kid when the kid barely knows how to be an adult itself.
And so by that very reason, should we wrap ourselves around that kid who's raising that kid and take them both?
Yeah.
And teach them both. Hey, mama, let me teach you why this baby is crying. Let me teach you how to then teach why this baby is crying. I sat there and did this with my daughters this morning. Exposure comes before comprehension. And they're only 5 and 4. And now they're saying it over and over and over again because church I mean, because exposure comes before comprehension. I get what you're saying, Tamika. Not in a church, right? But what I'm saying is this. Think about it. There are people in our community that come to the church for help.
Yes.
That's true.
How do you remove the ego? Because mothers of day want to. I think somebody said they did gentle parenting, and how do you remove the ego for somebody to come unlearn? Because if my mama whooped me, what they say, I'm gonna whoop you. If my daddy did this, I'm gonna do it to you. How do you remove the ego to come and see it a different way?
The same way
Well,
the pastor get that money out of them by telling them, God's got something for you. And
I
all
mean,
you gotta do is,
Yeah.
and then what happened? Out come the, what do you have in your hand? And all of a sudden they give it,
Right.
especially
that's
on the
true.
first of the month.
That's true.
So you're gonna have her give her rent to you for the building fund. At least teach the kids how to build their own building at home. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's just like with me growing up. Again, like I explained to you in a Facebook post, like I grew up getting beat on every day for whatever reason. Even asking for my father, I was getting beat on. So with me having kids of my own, and I only have 2 girls. Granted, I never really wanted kids because I never knew how to be a parent because I'm still a child in mind, basically, because I never received that motherly love and growth. So I don't treat my children the way I was treated growing up. Like, I don't disclose a lot of bad stuff to them, but I also let them know what the bad stuff is going on outside in the world. I keep it 100% with her and not allowing her to fall short and learning from the outside. So basically, I tell her I love her every day. I make sure that she has everything that she possibly needs and wants to grow. I don't get, I don't get the accomplishments of her accomplishments. I don't want that. It's for her and her only. I don't steal her shine. I don't say because of me. It's because you did. No, you did it because you learned well, and I try to give her that, and it's working, for most said than none. It's actually working. A lot of parents don't do that to their children. A lot of parents want to be that headstrong. You're gonna do what I say, do it, do it like I say, do it, or you gonna have these consequences type things. That's how I was raised, and I refuse to raise my kids like that.
And
I
never seen.
refuse. I refuse.
Monique, that goes to you too, because you said something about how you do gentle parenting, and people think that you're wrong if you don't know
And
how to.
being weak. They saying you weak. Your child gonna be out there like this. But let me tell you one thing about being a weak parent. A weak parent make you the strongest because that gives your child the trust in you that you got their back. That lets your child know that without you, that they won't be able to go forth with they can go forth. I'm gonna say that they can move forth without you being behind their back and co-managing everything that they do. You gave them enough responsibility and upbringing for them to know that everything is going to be okay on their part once they become of age to go out and live on their own. My baby finna graduate high school. She finna go off to college. But the life skills that I've taught her that wasn't taught to me by my mother, but my grandmother taught me the world. That was my protector, Mike. Like you said, yours was, mine was as well. My grandmother was my protector. That's who taught me how to cook. That's who taught me the morals and the values of life. That's who taught me how to carry myself as a woman, as a lady in the streets of these worlds. You feel me? At the end of the day, that's how I raised my daughter, how my grandmother raised me. Not how my mama treated me, but how I was raised by my grandmother. It's a difference. It's definitely a difference.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And right now to this day, my mother still can't look me in my face and say or apologize for how she treated me. Or she still can't look me in my face and sincerely say that she actually loved me. She cannot look me in my face and say, I'm proud of the accomplishments you made. She never, ever gave me my rights. Like she never gave me that my mama actually proud of me kind of feeling. No. No. Right now to this day, we not on good terms, but I love her and I respect her. But that's as far as that goes.
Have you taken a moment to actually ask your mother about her trauma?
Yeah, I asked her. My mom was in a hospital a couple of years when COVID first started. She was in the hospital on life support for 3 weeks. Every day, Mike, every day I went to that hospital. Every day I prayed over my mother. Every day I wiped her, I cleaned her, I held her hand. I was there for her. I mean, when push come to shove, it was like if I lose my mother, where would I be? But at the end of the day, I was comfortable with knowing if she left that day, I would be okay. I came to her prior to that and asked her, like, why did you treat me so wrong? She told me, because you're your father's child.
Okay.
Mm.
And I know that hurts to hear that.
Yeah, I do.
But would it be too much trouble if I gave just a slight perspective?
No, go ahead.
Okay. It took a lot for her to tell you that. And it hurts. And the thing is that often, if you, and I can't play that Momma Dee episode because I don't want YouTube to lose their mind, even though we were reacting to it. But when Lil Scrappy was arguing with his mom, and his mom said, "What about my trauma too?" When we are the recipients of their trauma and their pain, we don't want to hear about their pain. And that's understandable because we are in pain. But if we allow our parents and those who may have had good intentions, but like she said, you your daddy's child.
Right.
That hurt to hear. But in order to get to that healing that we really need to have, we got to dig even deeper.
Right.
We got to dig past that. And see, the healing is not just for your mom, it's for you. To hear her say that, to create that space and say, Mom, if it's not too much trouble, I know that what I'm about to ask you and what you may tell me may cause you to hurt me even more. I know you may not want to hurt me. I know you may want to get some things off your chest, but you're afraid to hurt me even more. I know there's some things you want to tell me, but you're afraid of how I would look at you. It's a thing called the accusation audit. And when you go through the accusation audit, you are disarming those excuses and allowing it to be a safe space where she can admit to you what will likely hurt you. But you cannot have healing without that pain, because the truth hurts, but it is
definitely
necessary for you to find out about that so that she can be free from that, because it's hard to love if you can't redeem yourself and have access to that evolution.
Right.
As a child, you come into this world insecure, but you don't know that you might have been born to an insecure parent. And when they are insecure because no one taught them, and when you are insecure by your very existence, you have a right to be insecure. They don't have a right to be insecure, but they are. And they could be in denial. She could have had you for her self-esteem. She said you were her daddy's child. She could have expected things out of your father, and your father did not come through. And because you look like your daddy, that's a source of resentment.
Yeah.
Because you act like him, that's a source of resentment. So every time she sees you, she may dislike you, even though she don't dislike you, but you could be the spitting image of your father, and that's a trigger of that trauma.
Yeah.
You could be the spitting actions of your father, and that's a trigger of that trauma. And if she is not honest about why she got with your father, she will never heal from that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they do.
And so I could see it in your face when you said, because you your daddy's child. What the is that supposed to mean? And
That
Yeah.
was my reaction. That was my exact words to her.
I'm sure those are natural reactions. But when we react that way reasonably, yes, it makes sense to do that.
Right.
But when we react from that, we shut them back down and we don't get those answers that we.
And I still haven't gotten them. So that's very understandable.
And so here's this. You will be an adult longer than you've been a child.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the greatest lessons that you can likely learn are still inside of your mother.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you this. I did not get the healing that I needed from my mother until after she passed.
Okay.
And there was I was looking at my brother's Facebook post because he died, and I was trying to just laugh at his memories and stuff like that. And then I stumbled across my mom's page. Now, my mom had blocked me. Not that I did anything to deserve it, except I was a disobedient child. Not disobedient for defiance sake, but I was disobedient because you were not going to abuse me anymore.
Right.
And I defended my brother from that abuse too. As a grown man, she wanted to beat him. She put him on ADHD medicine when he didn't have ADHD. He just wanted her love and attention, and she didn't know how to give it to him. So I defended my brother. So my mother knew she couldn't do the things that she wanted to do to me anymore because I wasn't going. And one time in 2008, I reached out to her to try to talk, and she blocked me. That was the longest cry ever. And then, boom, she was dead to me. So then, I kid you not, I was teaching a concealed carry class. I had stepped off the range because my phone was blowing up. I never do this. And they had told me my mom was on the table. She was coding. Now I'm forming homicide. Death is nothing to me. So I'm like, let me know when she passes. It was just reaction. That was the reaction. When she passed. And at her funeral, my sister and I, we felt free. We were still hurt, but we felt free.
Mm-hmm.
But then, fast forward to that day, I scrolled through my mom's Facebook page, saw a video of her. I'll let you back in, Monique. Saw my mom's video. I hadn't seen her in years. So, of course, that drew some tears. Because you love your mom. You just hate what she did to you.
Right.
And so she was against the thing that people was getting 2 years ago. I won't say it begins with an B and has words that go after. You get it. She was against that thing. You know? And so the same position that I took on it, I didn't know she had it too. It was wonderful to see us connect over that.
Right.
She had already been passed. So this is just a video. Imagine your mama speaking to you, your future self, through her previous post. And so there was another post that came across her Facebook feed, and she was like, it was about a woman who was complaining about how hard it was to be a single mama. And my mother was like, you think you got a problem being a single mama? Imagine what's going to do if you don't heal from your trauma and the trauma you're going to put on that kid. Those kids do not deserve that trauma. Now, you could imagine a person like me. I'm sitting here like,
Yes.
why do you tell me this? Oh! And so I canceled all my appointments and I cried the longest cries I have ever cried in my life. And it was then that my mother reached out to me. For some reason, I guess she knew he might see this.
Mm-hmm.
And she put that on there. And she had passed in 2018. She passed in 2018. Here it is, 2022, that I saw it. March of this year, actually. And then I can actually say, from that day to the present day, I can say I love you, mommy, and mean it, and still advocate for moms to get the healing that they need to get while advocating for abused children too. I don't excuse what my mother did, but I understand it greatly. And so I'm saying, I'm using this to tell you, I'm not telling you ever to like what she did. Don't ever like that. You have a right to feel the way you feel about how she treated you. But if you truly want to learn some good stuff, allow your mom the space to tell the painful truth. Now, don't lie to her and tell her you're not going to be hurt, because that's not true. You are going to be hurt. Don't lie to her and tell her you're not going to cry. That's where the accusation audit comes in. You're going to cry. Get a pillow and say, I'm probably going to punch this a couple of times to get it out. But allow her that space to get it out.
Right.
And watch how you two are going to do the work to heal together. Because when we hold that pain in and they begin to learn from what they've done wrong, they can show it in a few ways. One of the ways they show it is when they treat the grandchildren better than they treated you.
What? Say it. Okay?
You done said something with that one.
Kids, or other people, family members, or just other people, period, outside. Man.
And so let me tell you why that happens. Because when you don't know what you know, and parents who may watch this in the future don't sit there and say, I did the best I could. That's an affront to that child's trauma, and you smacking them in the face by saying that. Because that trauma ain't your best.
Sure not.
And the pain that we feel and they felt ain't the best. Don't do that. Say you did what you knew. That makes more sense.
They definitely do.
The reason why they treat the grandchildren better is when I learned through how I saw you turn out that what I did not work. You having grandchildren is another way for me to try again and redeem myself by showing the grandkids a better way.
And I told her that. I told my mother that. I said, you treat these kids, our kids, better than you ever treated us. I said, what, you trying to start over again?
But that could be a thing. Because how can you properly redeem yourself without access to show that you have evolved?
That's true. And she has. I mean, I'm 44, so yeah, she has.
And so here's this. I'm gonna say something and it'll sting, and then I'm gonna land and I'm gonna let y'all just fire it up, because I ain't bring y'all up here just to listen to me talk. What about the baby daddy? Oh, it's gonna hurt. But I'm telling you, here we go. Baby daddies who are watching this, men who are watching this, the relationship is OVA. It is over. But a man can be a husband and not be a father. A man can be a father and not be a husband. A woman can be a wife and not be a mother. A woman can be a mother and not be a wife. And so what I'm saying is this: if the husband and wife relationship is over, the mother and father relationship is not. And so there are times where we are so angry at the other parent, we deny the parent that we are angry at the right of access to show they have evolved.
I never did that with my baby daddies, neither one of them. I never gave them the opportunity to just be free like that. You have the right to see your child. This is your child now. Whether you choose to do so is up to you. Both of them chose not to. Hey, I still got to be a mama.
But here's this, and I agree with you. Here's this. If it's not too much trouble, let me provide a solution. If not for you all, because you might have done what you say you've done, it's all good. For those of you who may be watching this, right? If you know how to cook, teach them how to cook. offer them a chance to come into the kitchen and learn. So that way they can't give you no excuses. If you know about child development, teach them about child development, right? Have them come with some pad and some paper so they can learn about the ages and stages and the things you know. If you actually teach them, and give them the opportunity before you dismiss them, so they can show you that either A, they are willing to evolve, or B, I've given you the opportunity. It was a cookbook. I had everything ready. I set it up. You didn't want to come. But see, it's also about the introduction too. Why don't you bring your over here so you can go ahead and learn how to cook? Nobody's coming to that hostile environment. But you know what? If it's not too much trouble, come on over here. Let me teach you how to cook. You know what? I forgot before we had this kid, you told me your mama told you that you were stupid. You told me everybody told you you ain't gonna never be nothing in life. And here I am expecting you to somehow do, because we got kids. All right, let's set that to the side. Let me come over here and even see if you got the capacity to learn. Because you may not be stupid. You may be smart. But everybody else then gave up on you. And I'm not gonna give up on you. And I'm not doing this so that we can get back into a relationship, but I want you to understand that you matter, I matter, we matter. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Now I know some men ain't gonna do it, but you'll be surprised those who will. Ken, Ken Ross, what's going on?
Instructor Mike, man, thank you for once again. You always put it together. You get a good stream going, and I couldn't resist. So I had to come in and wax poetic a little bit on what you're saying. Quick thought.
Sure.
You've mentioned a lot about trauma, and I'm named after my dad. I actually have his name. He gave me his name, which is also something I carry a lot. But do you think there's a certain element when it comes to like your parents? There's almost this expectation that they're going to be like, for my mother, I'm going to give you an example. My dad's the most patient person I could ever know. My mother taught me patience because that's what she expected from her husband, right? Is there some aspect of that you could kind of put on it? Because honestly, I feel like I'm a much better person in some respects because there were these expectations based on traumas that my mother had, or vice versa, right? My dad taught me things as well.
What was the question again?
So the question really kind of involves that, you talked about the traumas that your parents have and they put on you, right? But there's this expectation of your response, and so in some ways they're teaching you certain habits, right? In the case of my mother, I believe one of the things I could see as a positive or maybe a negative is that I'm very patient, because my dad was probably the most patient person I could ever know. Is there some element to that? Is that kind of what you're saying in some ways, that we have this,
that you got your dad's patience, but you got your mom's?
Well, I would say it was my mom's stubbornness in some sense. I mean, there's things that are positive or negative, right? But they tie to these traumas. I'm not saying that patience is necessarily a negative or a positive, but I'm saying I'm expected, because I'm my dad's child, to be patient.
Who's expecting you to be patient, though?
My mother was. That's what I'm saying. So does that make sense what I'm saying?
It does make sense, but I got questions. What was the test of this patience? And where did this expectation come from? Now, don't get me wrong, patience is awesome, but you have to have energy to have patience.
Sure.
And so in order for you to have patience, not only do you have to have energy to have that patience, you also have to have an understanding of the thing that requires patience.
Right.
The failures that can happen, whether it be strategic or otherwise. So what in this hypothetical that you're telling me, was the thing that she had an expectation for you to be patient? On this caveat, sometimes people could have expectations of a person and or a thing that is unreasonable.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm going with this thing. I gave you a hypothetical, but it's an actuality for me. It's something I've realized that probably my mother was teaching us to be this way,
Sure.
in some ways, but it's tied to these emotional traumas that she went through as a child, and the things that she was raised. But ultimately, is I think my responsibility, and this is kind of where I'm coming from on this, is that I had to learn those things. I had to understand that the reason my mother taught us patience or wanted us to learn patience, whatever that took, and I don't know what that looked like for other people, was because of the things that she went through as a child. And once I realized that, I could forgive her for it. I could say, hey, look, all these things that she did to me that I didn't appreciate, and maybe I wasn't even out to really be able to do, were because of that. And so I don't know. I'm trying to put a little bit more depth to the discussion
Sure, you're
in
doing
my
good.
head. So I don't know what your thoughts are about that, but I'd
I would
love
have
to
to
hear
say,
what other people have to say.
no, patience is awesome. It really is. And there, I would have to know the context wherein she was. And you're fine, Miss Williams. I do want you to still come in if you wanted to. But I would have to know the context of the thing where she was trying to teach you patience. Sometimes parents want you to have patience because it's a way of, it's kind of like when you're hyper and you want to burn off that energy, but they want to teach you patience instead of just burning off that energy. And so they use the lesson of patience to get you to suppress that energy that you have. And then instead of harnessing that energy and understanding you need to burn it off, they teach you to be sedentary because they don't have the energy to keep up with your active lifestyle. You see how patience can be used in a negative way because
Yes.
you don't have the ability to be able to keep up with your active lifestyle, and so they want to suppress you and keep you quiet. And then the minute you do something where it's active, pop, and then you learn to be patient. So that's one way,
right,
that you could be taught patience. Another way you could be taught patience is understanding. Well, why is the baby crying? Well, I'm tired of hearing the noise. Tired of hearing the noise. The noise is horrible, right? I don't have the patience. I don't have the energy for that. Well, that's because you don't understand why the baby is crying. So, why do babies cry? Could be hungry. Could be tired. It could be a sickness. It could be a variety of different things that could cause, maybe could want some attention, right? And so if you understand how to diagnose these things, and then you attempt and then you fail, you learn from that failure after having been recovered, then you begin to learn. Now I have a subject mastery of this particular thing. So now I have doesn't mean it's not irritating, but at least I know steps to go through.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I'll let other people talk here when it comes to this, because I really do feel like what you're saying definitely has some element of understanding of the negative connotations of things. I wasn't trying to say patience is a positive thing necessarily, right? And ultimately,
I knew you were going with it. That's why we talked about.
Right. So yeah. So the things that I wish I knew as a kid when it comes to some of these things were, hey, how did what did my parents go through? How were they raised? If I would have grown up knowing those things instead of trying to discover them later, I could have probably let go of a lot of things that my parents did to me, or a lot of things that I live with as regrets, right? That I didn't get to have with my parents because I don't have them around anymore. So yeah, definitely appreciate the discussion. This is good.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Parents who do, it's like kids are amazing. Kids, if you have not mastered, and then Monique, it's up because I know you have a lot of great things to say, and I don't care how many times you get knocked out. When you come back, I'm bringing you right back in. All right.
Okay.
But when parents have not healed from their traumas and they have children based on those traumas that they are not honest about, your children, as they grow older, they will re-trigger the traumas you thought you ran away from.
Yep, that's true. I could definitely attest to that. I was a very stubborn person, and so was my mother. And I knew how to bring that out of her.
Yes. And they will re-trigger those things. And the thing is, sit down. Don't you can't you can't beat it out of them. Like, that's not gonna help. It's only gonna make them more aggressive. You do understand, after a while, my hand's gonna get numb to this. You better have something else. Because after a while, the child's gonna do what? Hit you back. Oh, you better not hit me because I'm a. Oh, guess what they doing? Oh. See, it's not helping. Monique, what's up? Gentle parenting. Oh, you were unmuted. You just muted yourself. Gentle parenting. You were made to feel that your gentle parenting was bad? Oh, she back out. We got to bring Monique back. Tiffany. Oh, go ahead, Miss Candace. Go ahead. You unmiked. You unmuted. One of y'all?
I think everything you said, I'm on the opposite end, is that I don't have kids and I don't want kids because I have not gotten over my trauma. And I don't ever want another human being to feel the way I feel on a daily basis when it comes to parents and not having that bond and not even an attachment. They're my parents, but other than that, that's it. There's no connection. And I don't think I can connect to a child until I can figure out how to connect with them because that's where it starts from.
That's true. That was one of my main reasons for waiting so long to have children. I never wanted children because of how I was raised. I just felt that I was going to be just like my mother, and I didn't want that. But once I did have my children, they got to growing up on me, like like he mentioned about patience. That's a part of becoming a parent. You have to have patience. You have to be able to understand that kids have things going on as well. Babies can't talk, so they can't tell you what's wrong. But as a parent with patience, you get to learn that.
Absolutely. Welcome to the stage, Tiffany. We're going to bring Monique back up again.
Hi.
Hey. You okay?
Yes, I'm good. How is everybody?
I thought you was crying. I was about to.
No.
I got the music going now. You come on, here you go. Go ahead.
I have a question. How do I get to forgiveness of both my parents to allow them to be active in my children's life? Like, backstory. So my mom and my dad were in a relationship from work. He was a married man with a family. And here I am. She gave him, "You need to be with me and my child, or you will never see your child again." He chose his wife and children. So she took me out of the picture. And growing up, it was, your father doesn't love you because he would be here. Your father doesn't want you because he would be here. He didn't choose you, he chose them. And it wasn't until I was 18, graduated from high school, that I looked his name up in the yellow pages online, called him and was like, "Hi, it's me." So we've kind of, from that point, tried to build onto something so that we could get to a point of a relationship, but it's always, well, that's your mother. That's your mother. Your mother did that. That wasn't, you know what I mean? And it's kind of just built a resentment to where I'm like, want to be protective of my babies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to allow them to do and say certain things to my innocent children. Now, I'm like, what's done is done with me, y'all. You did what you did. You chose whatever you chose. But how do I get to a point to where I can put my guard down and allow them to be grandparents without worrying?
I love this question. When did you come to learn the story of how your father and mother came together?
I think I was 15, 16.
Okay. Did you find out or did they tell you?
My mom's sister, my aunt, told me the actual truth.
So does your dad know that you know?
Yes.
Okay. How?
And his response, when I asked him about it, like, why were you not around? I was literally in the next town an hour and a half away. Why were you never around? And he was like, well, you don't remember that you told me you were tired of me and your mom fighting all the time, and I just decided just to walk away. And to me, that didn't sit right, because regardless, I was a child. Why would you walk away? At that point, you should have been more aggressively there.
I'm going to tell you this. You are in the right room.
And it has messed, like, I'm married, love my husband. He's everything. But that trauma has continued to carry where I'm just still, that wall is up and I refuse to bring it down for certain things.
So let me explain to you.
Yes, please.
That's okay. What your father could have risked by aggressively fighting for you.
Everything. Huh?
Is your father black?
Yes.
Is your mother black?
No, she's white.
Oh, this makes it even better to explain, worse for you to hear, but I think you need to understand some dynamics.
And I want to, and I'm so glad I found you so I could get an understanding.
So here we go. First of all, there is a man who previously said two statements. Men control access to relationships. Women control access to sex. But women also control access to parenting too. If your father, first of all, who created you out of what could be argued as an illegal relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your father was to aggressively attempt to try to fight for you, your father, especially if your mother gave him the option of leaving this to come with this, or you'll never see your child again. If he was to sit here and say, oh, hell no, you're not going to keep me from my children. And then he goes into court and files, let's just say it's in Illinois, a parental allocation of responsibility and put himself on child support for you. All your mother would have had to do is, yeah, he would have gotten his parenting time by court order. He would have gotten his child support because that comes with it. But here's what your mom could have done. Your mom could have made a false allegation of domestic battery, a false allegation of something that gave her the reason to get an order of protection. Because women, God bless you all, but women especially woman have
Absolutely.
political capital.
And she would have. She would have.
Okay, then. Political
She
capital.
told me. She actually told me when I asked her, the only reason I actually had you was to spite him. Since he hurt me, I wanted to hurt him.
Okay. So you know it. Let's continue. Right? Because it gets worse. It gets worse. Next thing you know, he gets an order of protection against him. And then when he gets that order of protection against him for 21 days, he can't be there. Then if it becomes plenary because he loses the will to fight, it becomes for 1 or 2 years. Okay, you coming in. I'm going to mute your mic. Those things are not. I'll wait till you come in the back room. I don't know who that is. That might be you, Moni. Moni, you got Boost Mobile. You got Boost Mobile. Well, I got Boost Mobile. Hold on, Tiffany. Don't go nowhere. Somebody got Boost Mobile. You got T-Mobile, Boost Mobile's cousin. I don't know who that is. It's coming through scratchy. I'm going to continue. But it becomes a 2-year order of protection. Right? And here's another thing, too.
Understand.
Who can't understand? What? Monique, you're kind of coming in and out. Can everybody else hear me? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So let's continue. And when y'all come back in, I'll let you back in. Here we go. So then, all right, Miss Candace, here we go. So then, let's just say this, Tiffany. You are a little girl. You know all your mother has to do is make an allegation that your father touched you inappropriately. I was a young detective in a police department, and I had just taken on a case where a mother came in with her girls. I will not say how many. And my partner and I, we took down the information, and the allegation was this father had inappropriately touched his daughters. Now, there was no information about any penetration. There was no information about anything where we could take a sexual assault kit. There was none of those things. But it was that allegation. And with that allegation, we went down to a courthouse. I won't say which one it is. We waited during one of their divorce proceedings. We were sitting, my partner and I was sitting in the aisle. And once that court proceeding was over with, we took him into custody and took him to the police station. We interrogated him for maybe about 6 or 7 hours. He stuck to his story. We called the state's attorney to try to get felony review charges, but they said they needed more. And we didn't have enough to hold him. One of you got to mute yourself or the background because it's coming through. Did you know that the aunt of those girls came in with those girls later on, and the aunt showed us proof that she had lied?
Wow. Wow. I believe it.
And so I'm telling you this. It is understandable for you to come to your father in the manner that you did because you're coming from a position of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It is very natural for you to say, Well, why didn't you fight for me? That's a valid question.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm here to tell you today, if you begin to understand of what would have happened to him had he done that, and you begin to come to him with understanding, I guarantee you that he did the same thing that my father did in walking out of my life. I later learned as a child, I know I'm moving all over the city. Don't ask me what part of Chicago I'm from. I'm from every part.
Mm-hmm. Same. That was my mom. She was a nomad of the land, just moving.
Oh yeah, we was everywhere. And then
Mm-hmm.
to find out, I asked my father in a little less emotional tone, but just straight up, just what happened? Tell me what happened. Well, I tried to come for you, son, but your mother kept moving y'all over the place. So how did I connect that dot? We was moving all over the place. You weren't there. It makes sense.
That's what he told me.
And then knowing the abuse that my mom put me through, she couldn't tell me anything otherwise.
At all.
So I knew that my father was telling the truth. And so the thing is, there are fathers who must walk away. Why? Because your child will be an adult longer than they have been the kid. So why play the short game when you can play the long game?
And that's what he said. He said, I just prayed when you became an adult that you would find me.
And you did.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, Tiffany, I am telling you, your father may have evolved. Your father may be the greatest support system that you could ever ask for. But at this point, he may not feel as though he has the access to redeem himself, to show you that he has evolved.
That makes me cry. Thank you.
And so, because I said it, men control access to relationships. Women control access to parenting, and women control access to sex. Your father does not want to force his way into your life, because that may turn out the same way it would have been if he forced his way into your life back then. And so there is that slight hesitation.
This group session has been very informative for me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you.
Because
I've actually did my conceal and carry with Instructor Mike. He's a very good inspirational speaker. One of those that'll get to you and how you thinking and listening.
Oh, man, I'm in tears right now.
I'm just telling you, your father
Yeah,
loves
he's
so
he's very keen on his word, and I that's what I like about him.
I appreciate that. Your father loves you so much, but your father needs
But
to
I feel
know.
where you coming from, Tiffany. I too been through that same situation of separation for no apparent reason, mainly because my mother was just that spiteful and didn't want to let my
Yes.
father be a man and let my father be
Yeah.
my life, and kept him away from me for so long. Mad at the world because he didn't want to take on the responsibility of my sister, which wasn't his child. I mean, you got to take the good with the bad at certain times, but to take a child away from her father at such a young age,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy because I left single when I was 9 years old, and I didn't see him no more until Christmas of '98. I was 18 years old. I was ecstatic. It was like seeing my father for the first time. Just to lose him months later because he was murdered, it hurt me because I never had a chance to actually know my father. You know, as a child growing up, talking to him and learning him, it kind of dissipated when I was taken away from him for all those years. To get back reunited with him, to try to build what we lost a long time ago,
Yes.
for him to be taken away from me by the hands of another man. That
Oh my
it hurts me. And then to have my mother tell me that my father better off dead than he ever was on earth.
God.
That's the day in the moment that I despised my mother. That's the day that I literally lost all respect for my mother. That's the day that I actually put hands on my mother. How dare you? You laid with this man. You made me. But you could never take a child away from something so precious like that and then make it seem like it's all my fault at the end. It's because of you he wasn't around. It wasn't because of me. It's because of you he wasn't around.
Right.
So I get where you coming from. Like I really get that. Good thing you still probably got your father around. I don't. So I could never have this conversation with him to find out what things went wrong or how we could go forth and fix things and none of that. My father been gone since 1998. And like I stated, I'm 44 years old. I basically spent my whole life without my father. And for my mother to treat me like she did growing up, and all I wanted was my father. I just always wanted my dad.
And the thing
It's
is,
crazy, but I feel where you're coming from, though. I actually have a good understanding about that.
and when we look at some of the reasons that are provided,
But Instructor Mike gonna get it right together.
y'all hear me? Y'all
Definitely is.
The reason why, some of the reasons that are
I'm
provided,
guessing he having technical difficulties.
I must be.
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear? Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
the,
can hear you.
the
Okay.
reason, if you think about it, the reasons why some
But I
men,
definitely needed this little group chat real quick.
out that you hear me.
Cause it be days that I be lost in space inside of my head. Like
Okay.
I wonder what my life would be like if it was different.
I want to let her
You
finish.
know,
I love
I
it.
could just go for what it is right now. I'm a grown adult. I got grown kids.
I don't want to
I
stop.
think I did the right thing and how I raised them, and they on the right path. I got a high school graduate coming and a college graduate coming next year. So I feel like I did my part in raising mine the right way, despite my upbringing and how I was raised. I just vowed that I'd never do what my mother did to my kids. That's what she did to me. That was traumatizing. Very traumatizing. Going to school with black eyes and big lips, and you got to tell your friends and everything, oh, I got jumped on yesterday. We live in the projects. Everybody know what goes on in the projects. Ain't nobody seen me fight nobody. But that's the story I told. That's the story I stuck to. It was crazy.
Yeah. Sorry to hear about that.
I mean, but shit, I got through it though. I got through it with flying colors. You saw I got a purple heart from that. And people call me mean and aggressive and all of this. I don't come off as being mean and aggressive, but I can see sometimes in certain conversations that I can get a little aggravated, or a little heated, and I only feel like that because I definitely got something down in me that I have not yet touched to bring it out. I haven't had the right person to actually bring it out of me, like to get me free from it or nothing like that. But like you said, Mike, that's something my mother has to do.
Yeah.
And my mother is very stubborn in her way. She's very, very stubborn. She believes that what she did was right way, and that's how my grandmother raised her. But my grandmother had 5 kids, and she didn't just treat one; she treated them all the same. And if one got in trouble, that one got in trouble. All didn't get in trouble. That one got in trouble. And I just don't understand. My mother was a rebellious child of my grandmother's 5. She was the rebellious child. She was the one that wanted to do what she wanted to do, how she wanted to do it, when she wanted to do it. So she was treated as such. But you can't blame my grandmother for how she treated you when you caused all the things that happened to you to happen. And that ain't just come from my grandmother's words. That came from my aunties and my uncles as well. So my mother got issues of her own that she's battling, but she just that stubborn. She's not gonna bring it out because I don't know if she just don't want nobody to feel sorry for her, or she just don't want nobody to really know. But then she expect for people to allow her how she act to let her act that way because that's just her. But it's not good. It's not mentally okay, because deep down inside, I believe I got some type of mental issues. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They say the first thing to addiction is the admitting, right? So I feel like I have some type of mental issue going on, but I can't grasp and say, oh, I have this and was that. It's something going on, but I just don't know exactly what it is. But I've learned over the years to channel my anger. I learned over the years how to not let certain things get me to a certain point in life where as though it prohibits me or it brings me to a halt where as though I can't do nothing. I don't allow it to do that. I try to get past that. I do things else other like read books, talk to other people. I give good advice to other people that I don't even use for myself, and I don't even know why that is.
Here's a question that was asked. Do you know any family on your father's side that can bring you perspective on what was happening back then? And that, I believe that was to Tiffany. That would be something that we needed to know. And I think I was trying to say this earlier, and then I'll open it up for you to answer that question. When we think about the reasons, it's said that your father was not there. How many of y'all know the song Papa Was a Rolling Stone?
Absolutely.
His hat was his home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that song is weaponized against the absent man. But if you look and listen to the lyrics, it was the 3rd of September, a date I'll always remember. That was the day that my daddy died. Never had a chance to see him, never heard nothing but bad things about him. Mama, I'm depending on you to tell me the truth. And guess what Mama said? Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. And it could be ALONE or A space LOAN. Depends on how you look at it. But then there's the other side of that people are not hearing. Yes, Papa was a rolling stone. Because just like alcohol and drugs, sex is also a coping mechanism. You know what else is? Always being gone at work. But if Papa was a rolling stone, can you tell us why you were one of those homes where he laid his hat? Of course she lied. And that's why there will be another stone. If you're not willing to tell me why you were one of those homes where he laid his hat, you're not doing me any better by lying to me.
Exactly.
And so,
Exactly.
Tiffany, I guarantee you, I can almost guarantee you this. If you open the door, not excusing the behavior, your hurt is legitimate, but understanding the reason his departure was necessary. Also, because of the fact you were the love child.
That part.
Yeah.
You were the love child too. So here's this. That can bring about a whole nother deeper conversation about why people cheat.
Yep.
Knowing that your father could have been looking for something different in your mother that he wasn't getting in his wife, and that there was trauma there from that too. So it's also a sense of embarrassment, understandably so. But as a man who has cheated in the marriage, I got married when I'm not married now, but I got married when I was young at the age of 20. That was the worst mistake I made in my life. Not because of the person I married. That's what some people would think. I am not ever talking bad about her. She and I were trauma bonding. We had no business being married. And what are vows before God when you got voids on this earth? How can I have you and hold you in sickness and in health through good times and the bad when I've only experienced the bad? I've only experienced the worst. And so if she was who she needed to be to tell me no, if my mother and my grandmother and my aunt, before I got married, I took my then fiance over to my grandmother and my aunt to meet her. I wish they had been strong and healed enough to say, Mike, you in the military, you came home on leave. Thank you for your service. You're doing good, young man. What are you about to do? No. You are not qualified to be anyone's husband or be anyone's father because there are some things that we did not teach you. And if you marry her for love, you are going to regret it later because the things that you are qualified for professionally do not translate over to being a qualified husband and father. And if you marry her, you will pay for it later. You are going to, and she could be a beautiful young lady, but you are not qualified because we didn't teach you everything yet. But that's not what they did, Tiffany. Oh my God, she's beautiful. I just want to see you happy. Oh my God. Yes. No, that does us a disservice. And so you don't know why your father married that woman and cheated to create you. So there's that trauma too. And then you being a grown woman, also married, it's like shit. I don't know if I want to say anything. Because then I wasn't there for you. Bring this man too, for me to say yes or no. So if I get into your life and I'm seeing your child, my grandson, and I'm being there, but then I see the red flags in your husband. Oh, he gonna cheat on you because I was that way too. Oh, Tiffany, we gotta talk. And now here he go trying to tell you, and you like, oh.
Yep.
So now you wasn't in my life when I was a kid.
Come on. Yes.
So
You can't tell me nothing.
You're trying to sit here and mess with my happiness while your father could be trying to save you from the same pain that caused him to create you.
Yep. And that's where I'm trying to get to wholeheartedly being able to accept and receive when he's trying to help or guide or any of that, because in the back of my mind, like you just said, I'm like, no, sir, because you were not there for me when I needed you the most.
But he's there for you now when you will need him forever. Because you don't know how long you're going to be alive. He don't know how long he going to be alive. Miss Scandalous just sat there and said she finally reconciled with her father and lost her father at the hands of another hurt man.
And I don't believe in coincidences. And I feel I was here at this moment with you guys for this reason.
And you got somebody in the comments, Mona Lisa Harris, who's saying, accept his love, but I'm not just going to say just that. Accept his wisdom, because a smart person learns from their mistakes, but a wise person learns from the mistakes of others. And your father got so much wisdom to teach you. But the one thing we don't do in our community is we are taught to turn away from those who have failed, instead of embracing them and learning that wisdom so we don't have to go down those landmines. I love talking to older people, and I love asking them, teach me something from where you failed and you just sat on down, and they got a whole bunch of stuff to teach you and stories to solidify that message. Let your father, it's not about love. It's about the lesson.
Absolutely. I hear you. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you.
I guarantee you, if you allow him, I tell my older two children, the younger two, they, but I tell my older two children, it's not your job to love me. It's my job to love you and care more about your outcomes, that I am willing to sacrifice myself and put myself on the altar of embarrassment to tell you about my failures, to teach you, so that when life shoves a pencil in your hand, you will have a dot to connect.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everything and all the comments.
You're more than welcome to reach out.
No problem. You always know it's somebody out there that got something similar, something just like you going on that you can always relate to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I will definitely, I'm going to go back and rewatch this when you post it. And
Mike, as you was talking,
Mike, I would say you had a nice little breakthrough on this session right here.
Man. Go ahead, Ken. Oh my God.
I was gonna say, as you were talking, I could always just imagine, my father, and then what it is I want to be as a father, and that's a protector, right? And you talked about that in a roundabout way. What Tiffany's father wants to do is protect her.
Well, Tiffany, I hope things get better on your end with your father. Good luck with that.
Yeah. So that's what I saw, and I really do think if she allows her father to actually do that, that a lot of healing can come from that as well.
Yeah.
Because I know that's something I needed from my parents.
Because trust me, he definitely is.
He wants to do that.
He wants to do it. And it's like, is he the do as I say or else? No, we're past that stage. But consider your father like a college advisor. I can only advise you. But if you listen to my advice, you will sidestep that landmine.
Right, and that was another thing I was thinking as you were talking too. The best thing for Tiffany's father to do was to leave her alone, because that was the most protecting thing he could have done. Had he tried to step in, it would have been a disaster, and he wouldn't have been able to protect her anymore. He would have had all that taken away from him. Now he has the chance to do it, and he wants to do it.
And there is something to be said.
Yeah.
There is something to be said about the hurt that resides in a person where they will strap a bomb to you as a child and send you as the weapon to that other parent to blow both of y'all away. There's something to be said about that. And the one thing that the United States does not do officially is negotiate with terrorists. And that's why your dad had to walk away, because you cannot negotiate with a person who's willing to take those kinds of actions.
Yeah.
And I call your mama a terrorist. I'm just saying.
No, I completely get it. But it takes like an outside perspective to kind of break it down in the form that you did, for it to be like that aha moment.
Yeah. Osama bin Jessica. that's not her name. That's not her name. I'm just right. All right, y'all. We're gonna wrap it up.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Really, thank you so much.
Welcome. And I wish you the very best. And you're more than welcome to follow back up. Because I want to know how this comes out.
Yes, absolutely. Because don't be surprised if I inbox you for advice. Because
I trust me. I've been talking to people all day. So you.
Because I believe. I want to do better and be better for my children, and I want to break those generational curses. I don't want the same.
we can do it.
That's true.
We can do
Mike,
it.
don't you offer some type of forum classes or something like that?
Yeah, but I like this forum too because I offer it by Zoom, but I like this forum too because other people trust me. I'm gonna segment this without the content because YouTube don't like that when it's fair use. Wow, it's crazy. But there's gonna be some people who's gonna see this, and it's gonna be some healing that's gonna come from it because it's a lot of people who got the same trauma and don't have a place to voice it, but they're gonna be able to voice it here on Dad I Wish I Knew. I'm telling you. And I love learning from you all too, Tiffany and Miss Scandalous and Ken and even Miss Williams. I know you had the technical difficulties, but I've learned from you all too. And Mo, we grew up together, kind of sort of in high school. And so, man, I'm just saying, it's a lot. It's a lot. So it's a lot. All right, you all, we're gonna call it so y'all can get something to eat and some sleep. Because Tiffany kids, I know your kids is playing jumping jacks. And you talking about some, get off the couch. I can't unmute right now, but kids are doing what kids do. But final thoughts, you all.
I was just gonna say once again, Mike, thanks for such a great discussion. Always inspirational to me, and everybody in the audience for participating. I get a lot out of this too, right? I think you say you like this format. I think it's the only way really healing can happen, right? In some sense, we can talk about what it really takes to change a culture or a society. You have to do it like this. You can't just just offer a course or tell somebody something in the subway somewhere. We have to relate to each other. We have to have a discussion and a dialogue from different perspectives. So I thank you for giving us that. It's great.
If he said anything, I definitely can't hear him.
Yeah, you haven't been able to hear people, but we've been hearing you and your voice matters. So, Miss Natalie, you fine. I was sitting here talking. I was like, and what that? Nope, let us speak. Just use him. God, let him use you.
Yeah, it's coming in, but then it's like distorted, and then I don't hear anything at all.
Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna say this.
Instructor Mike, Miss Scandalous, everybody, thank you for your input. I appreciate it. And I'm like Ken. I think this is the only way so that people can see and hear that, like Miss Scandalous said, you're not alone. There's other people going through this as well.
Yeah.
And this is real life, and it's okay to be
Not
uncomfortable.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay to not be okay and not be comfortable, but this is a safe space, and talk about it. Don't hold it in.
Yeah. Well, that's what group sessions are for. Normally, is for everybody to relate and everybody to pick up and accept and adapt to what's going on. Just know that you're not alone. It's more than just you going through the same thing that you're going through. It's just a lot of people not opening up. Too many people are afraid. Too many people are holding back.
That's what William just said. Not everyone will talk for the fear of feeling like the only one with the problem, but listening proves you're not the only one. And this is also going to be on my podcast, On the Mic with Mike. So it's not just, if you can't watch it on YouTube, you can also go to my podcast, On the Mic with Mike, right? And this will be on there as well. Okay. All right, you all. Have an outstanding night. I appreciate it. And we are out. I don't have no fancy intro. Look at y'all. It's wrong. Y'all to November. I don't have a fancy outro yet. It's one coming. But
I'm sure it is.
Hey, Miss Cantrell, you said it's more than just talking about it. I feel we have to be determined to change the narrative. And that is so true. On this channel, Dad, I Wish I Knew. Oh, let me ask the question too. Hey, are there 10 moms with kids? Tiffany, I know you're here too. If you all are in the Chicago, I don't know why I didn't say this earlier. If you all are in the Chicago area and you got kids, I need 10 parents who are willing to have your children and you too come up to I know it's you, Monique, you're fine. come up to like Lowe's. I have a Lowe's and I have a store manager who's willing to provide it. I have 10 families. Now I would shoot for 40. And then if I, you know what I'm saying? If I shoot for 40, I'm guaranteed 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to bring your children so that we can learn fix-it projects and you get certificates and you get to add to your child's value.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, why not turn your children into persons that have that? You see what I'm saying? It's like we often look at our professional resume, what school we went to, what education, what jobs we worked. Well, where's your personal resume? I'm qualified in sewing. I'm qualified in how to fix this kitchen sink, how to unstop a toilet, how to replace this, how to replace that, how to change the bulbs out the thing, how to change the fire. You see what I'm saying? All this value. So that way their eyes and ears become open by having knowledge, skills, and abilities to be an equitable partner in the home. So that way when you ladies, right, the younger ladies, when they get older and then your sons get older, right, you all have skills to where you can help each other out in the home environment.
When has this been offered?
Well, I need to get the people first.
Oh, okay.
I need to get the list of families who are willing to do this. So that way I can go to him so we can get some dates and some classes set up. And they're going to square everything away. So if you're interested in that, text me. I'm interested. I'm going to give you the number. 773-644-5000. Type it right now. And just text me. I'm interested. That's the number. 773-644-5000. If you are interested, like I said, I'm going to try to get 40 families so that way I can come to him with 40 people so he could be like, oh, yeah, we guaranteed to get 10 out of this. I could bring it down south. I just need to see if I can get the work started here. And then if Lowe's sees that this is a good thing, it can spread. 773-644-5000. I'm telling you, the more you begin to increase the knowledge, skills, and abilities of your children, the more value that they have, that they are useful to themselves first, and they are useful to others, so they can be qualified with the knowledge, skills, and abilities for family. Love has a quicker expiration date than value, but you extend your value when you have more knowledge, skills, and abilities that are valuable. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because it's hard for you to say, boy, you ain't somebody who got a fat stack personal resume and a fat stack professional resume. Now you just got to say, I don't like you right now. That's all you can say, and that would be true. I don't love you right now.
Don't get me started, Mike. I was an RA in college, and I can't tell you how many people didn't know how to do simple stuff. Like,
yes. Yeah.
It's bad.
And you got to care about your kids' outcomes, not your present trauma. Your trauma matters, but outcomes. Teach them the value of family, working together with knowledge, skills, and abilities to make the family work. All right, y'all. We are out of here.